So, eating this peanut butter and starting a video is probably not the best thing to do. But I've attempted to start this video twice. And the first time, my kids came in. It was fine. We went and played. Then I had that all situated. Then I got ready to start again. And the wife creaks open the door and says, "Honey, can you take a look at this and see if it needs stitches?" I don't think it needs stitches. We iced it. My daughter, one daughter dropped something on the other daughter's head. It's cut right by the corner of the eye. Looked worse at first. We've iced it, cleaned it, iced it, and then bandaged it together, and it wasn't opening anymore. So I know that's grotesque, but parenting. And so then I grabbed a peanut butter sandwich, and rather than eat the sandwich and delay, I just decided to just go after it. Okay, today we're going to do something a little different. Here's my setup at the moment. I've been playing with my loadouts, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I've got a fire set that focuses on fire attunement and damage. I've got a water set, which focuses on defense. I've got a nature set, coming together slightly. Most of these are just swapping out a trophy and a piece of armor, and that's because I basically have one main set. When you first start out, you're not rich enough, you're not loaded enough to have multiple sets, a totally different set of armor for a totally different build. You're going to build a main set. And so what you're looking at here is sort of my main set. All right. Now with my main set, I'm doing something a little different. Rather than having my main set say, okay, I'm going to start off, I'm going to make my main set a fire set. What I'm doing instead is saying, I'm going to make my set a generic set. I want fairly even attunement across the board. So right now, a lot of fire resistance. I have some of that naturally. And frost weakness because I'm weak at frost naturally. I'll probably focus on a frost-only set very soon. But I've got a little water resistance, a little nature resistance, no void at the moment, bunch of fire. Now, the only tier 10 stuff I've got is a steel helmet, and this Alora's Talisman, which drops from a boss, and of course his weapon, which drops from a boss. So I didn't craft any of those except the steel helmet. However, today I'm ready to craft the rest of my tier 10 stuff, and then we're going to build each thing in accordance right here with you so you can see how it's done and see how we build the top stuff and my theories behind building them. And then my theory behind my main build, which is just a generic build designed to kind of have, resistances across the board. So I can just wear it wherever I am without thinking, right? Just a generic set. And then from those generic sets, this steel helmet, obviously, would be in my fire set. So from this point forward, after I do this, rather than work on a generic build, I'll start to pick up a piece, right? And what I'm doing here is I'm not sinking 100 hours into this game at once. I'm piecemealing. And so I got to find the most efficient way to make a build. And so then you sort of have to let things come to you. You have to let things come to you. So if I get a tier 10 opal fire resistance, okay, maybe I can add that into a piece. Gems seem to be really the limiting factor here. Okay, I can add that into a piece into the fire resistance set. Okay, I can go build a caress, add that in, and now I've got a dodge fire resistant piece of armor. Maxed out, as good as it can be. So I'm letting the game kind of bring me the stuff and letting that kind of generate some amount of my initial builds. Eventually you have enough stuff that you can just say, okay, this is what I'm going to, I'm going to build this exact build with these exact gemstones, with this exact, and you can go do it. You can, if you're going to put 100 hours in, you can do that with a couple sets, right? But with me, because I'm piecemealing this game and playing it in small segments, I sort of have to let the game come to me. This is a smarter way of using my resources to give me the maximum amount of potential, be useful as many places as possible. Maybe I can't solo tier 3 yet, Fire World bosses, but I can contribute in any dungeon. If someone says, hey, I need help in Tangula, level 3, I can be helpful there. All right, so here's what I got right now. I've got a level 9 opal. Prefer it to be 10, but it's time to, I've got enough stuff, it's time to kind of gear up, and I want to get completely tier 10, and that's what we're going to do today. So I've got a level 9 opal with some void resistance. I don't have anything with void resistance. I'm avoid. And I've got what it takes to build the Ingram gloves. And so here I am in Roguehold. Now when you craft something in any given, I'm going to finish this. I don't know. You see that right there? 1% chance for void enchantment. So, if it's successful, I get what I want, and I won't have to go enchant. So it's worth going to Roguehold to do any enchantments that you're going to do that you intend to build into Void Gear. I'm going to be building level 10 Ingen's glove. Nope. Misclick. Ingen's glove. Okay. Now to make life easy, I just click tier 10, and there's all I've got to work with. 2 leather, 1 cloth, glowing shard. Now, why Ingen's gloves? First off, with steel, you get some negatives. So with steel, you get negative 2% block. So if you're using a shield, that's a problem. Doesn't matter for me. Negative 2% dodge chance. Well, dodge is nice. I mean, I'd like some dodge in my life. I drive mostly Chryslers, but dodge would be great. And then negative initiative. And so by not wearing steel, you automatically get those bonuses. So when I jump to Ingram's gloves, it doesn't have any of those negative things. So in a sense, I get those by not wearing steel. It's relative. In addition, Ingen's gloves gives you 10% critical chance, but it takes away 1% of defense. The thing is, my build doesn't necessitate that 1% from steel gloves to get me to 95% defense on the build that I've got defense on, which is my water build. So it's a good trade-off for me to dump the steel gloves and build these instead. These are obviously more expensive. They take 1 extra tier 10 item. But here we go. We're going to craft it. It wasn't socketed, and it wasn't enchanted. Such is life. All right. We go to the carving station. We're going to go ahead and put them in there. All right. Of course, moon discs aren't tiered. So I'm going to take that off and carve. Now I've got a socket in it. Great. Now what we've predestined here is there's an opal with void enchantment. So we're going to go to 9. Well, first we've got to pick our gloves. Huzzah. We're going to go to 9. And here's my level 9 stuff. And this is the one I had my eye on. An opal, level 9, 1% void with 3% dodge chance. Now, 3% dodge. One of the issues that you have in this game is fighting bosses that use crushing power, which ignores armor. And Boris is the dungeon master, he's the boss in Ruins, which is the boss in the dungeon in the real world. And your armor doesn't do any good there. And so what I'm doing with this is I'm building a pair of gloves that's going to be void focused, but helps me with some dodge improvement against Boris. It's not going to be a huge big deal, but it's a theory that works out pretty well. All right, so now we're going to put this sucker on. Tier 10. Because I'm taking off Ingram's gloves and putting on Ingram's gloves, you know, it's no, actually I'm not going to do that just yet. Because we're going to go enchant. Ah. All right, enchantment. I keep telling you, hey, it's so important to gather up all those enchanted materials. Why? Well, this is why. You can make enchanted gear straight from enchanted material. Okay? Which is great. But getting it up to tier 10 is a little tough. What you do instead is take this low-tiered stuff, and by clicking this, it gives me a 3% chance of building Ingram's glove. So that's a level 2 lumber. To get a level 2 up to level 10 is like 20,000 level 2s to get one level 10. It's insane, right? Or it can give you a 3% chance of giving you a level 10 enchantment. Of course, 3% chance is not good enough. So we're going to start just pouring this in. You're going to see as it jumps. And we're going to get rid of all the low stuff first, up to 70%. I'm going to go all the way to 100. Too many bad stories. I don't want to use that shard. I don't know why, but I just don't feel like I want to use that shard. Bring that back. I'm going to use up all the low stuff. First, I'm at 100%. Did I overkill it? I wasn't watching. You were probably watching. Yeah, I overkilled it. There, 97. 99. Should we risk it? You know what? Life is short. We should risk it. Okay, there's a moment there where I thought that was dumb. Okay, so now it's enchanted. So let's take a look at the finished product now. Finished in the sense that it's tier 10. It's enchanted just the way I like it. with attunement. So I got 6% from that. So that's 5% from the enchantment, 1% from the gemstone. And I made sure those two matched. So that this was a very void focus. Now as I continue to build a void set, I'll keep these gloves and I'll focus on everything else. So my main set will be kind of 1 or 2 of every type. So I'm protected. Then I can switch out the trophy and get another 5% of whatever I'm fighting. So if I'm in frost, if my main set's got 5-6% of attunement and then I switch out the trophy into a frost attunement, now I'm at 11% attunement with frost. And you can see how using the different trophies, how you might actually be able to be fairly defendable in any situation with just a tweak, right? All right. In addition, when you enchant something, you get another bonus, right? And on Ingen's gloves, it's health, plus 20. So if you remember my 9 gloves, here I had used a pearl, and it gave me plus 18 health. Well, I just traded 20 for 18, right? I mean, I just got 2 more by enchanting this and taking off the old one. Plus it has 13.5% defense, so 0.5 more defense, 2 more health, and now 3% dodge chance. So net effect is 0.5% armor, plus 3% dodge, plus 6% void attunement. That was the net effect of that swap out. Now, this thing can be improved even further. That was a level 9 opal. I don't really have a dodge build at the moment. I'm not intending to build a dodge build, but by adding that in now, my dodge chance went from -1 to 2. So I went from never going to dodge to 1 out of every 50 hits I could dodge. I've given myself the chance to dodge. And what it's cost me is I could have put in a tier 10 steel gloves, although I don't have the materials for it. I could have put in tier 10. I would have lost a little initiative, and there'd be no chance at dodging, but I'd only have 0.5% more armor. So swapping those out, I'd rather take the increase chance of dodge from 0 to something, right? I'd rather have that than the 0.5% of defense, which would net me next to nothing. Okay? These are done. But at some point, if I come across a tier 10 opal void and I decide I'm ready to upgrade this, I could pull this gem out and put that in. So it's not done. I could come back to this at some future point and mess around with it. All right, the next 2 things are going to be fire enchantments. So where do you go for fire enchantments? Well, we're going to head to the capital of the... Look, there's an opal right there. Restocking. This is the level 5. So we're going to build a caress and some boots, steel, in this case. Both of them are going to be fire. One's going to be an onyx, which is defense, and one's going to be a pearl, which is HP. And we're going to see the very same process play itself out. And then we're going to go full tier 10. I'll swap out a trophy, and then we'll hit the quest, and we will have accomplished the objective. And you will have kind of seen someone go to their top tier, which is kind of cool. I mean, you get to do it once, but now you get to do it twice now because you get to hang out with me. Benefits. And that peanut butter is still in my mouth. All right, we are crafting. Hake is here. That's how you pronounce that, Hake. We had a long conversation about how to pronounce his name at some point. All right, I'm doing a caress. Aww. All right, we're doing tier 10 or 100, if that's a thing. It takes 3 steel bars. I just want 1. 1% chance. Failed. Didn't sock it. Such is life. All right, we'll live. We're going to take 1 out here. We're going to dump this, and then we're going boots. These boots are meant for walking, and they'll walk right over you, except I skipped them. Now, I might decide later on that, you know, what I really want in this build is to give up the -2 block chance, -2 dodge chance. Now, if I remove that -2, I'm in the positive already. I have 2% dodge chance. So now if I take out these and replace them with some other boots, I would double my chance to dodge. I'd go from 2% to 4%. And so if you look at something like Wind's Walkers, cool, right? I mean, maybe that's a build. Maybe you have a plethora of defense, and I can afford to lose defense, and I'll pick up the dodge chance plus the added initiative. But that's 7% base value, and this sucker is 10%. So I lose 3 defense to do that, right? So you're bouncing back between those two options. All right, craft. I would have loved an enchantment there. It would have saved me a bunch of materials, but it's 1%. I mean, how greedy can you be? We're going down to carving. We're going tier 10. What are we going to carve? Steel Chorus, Caress, Curus. I'm sure there's a right way to say it, and I'm sure I'm never going to guess it correctly. Boom. Carve. Both have been carved. All right, now we're going to socketing. Now, it doesn't really matter which one I put what on, in my opinion, tier 10. But I had predetermined that the Onyx was going on the Caress. It's a level 9 Onyx. Here it is. It's Fire Enchant. That's the Ruby. There it is. 3%. Now, a level 10 Onyx is 3.25%. And so, pretty minimal benefit there, 0.25%. But if you had 4 of them, that'd be a whole extra percent. But whatever. Socket. Thank you. And then we're going to go back to 10. And we're going to take the Steel Greaves. I don't know what he's grieving about. And we had predetermined a level 8 Pearl here. Now, you say, Drew, level 8 Pearl seems kind of low to be putting in a tier 10. Well, I don't have a 9 or 10 Pearl. It's Fire Enchanted. This is what I've got. Again, this is about incremental improvements because it's not about the build. It's not about, oh, this is the build. And I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about. Both of these are going to be Fire Enchanted. So here we go. Going 10. Wabam. We're going to type the word fire, so it brings all the fire. I'm going to type the word fire correctly and just start dumping. Anything below 4 is what I'm going to start with. All right, I'm going to keep the higher level stuff because maybe I'll make jewelry from it or something. Here's a bunch. Let's dump this extra stuff. 4, 5, 10%, 3. I always start with the low stuff just because I'm never going to use it for anything else. Get this up to... I wonder if we take some level 1 here. What does that give me? 3, and then I add one of these in. Perfect. And this will be Fire Enchant. Butamus Maximus. Then we go back. We're going to pull together our level 10 boots, which are meant for walking, which is just what they'll do. We'll type the word fire, so we only get our Fire Enchant, and we'll get right back to it. And we're going to dump all of this in there. We used a lot. That should be... I'm going with 99. Oh, now I'm grateful. See, 1% didn't go poorly. I didn't get my 1% on the enchant build, but it didn't cost me 1% on my enchant build. That's confusing. Okay, so let's finish this off now. We're going to go tier 10. Put my ash on, just so we can do this. We are swapping out a level 9 Steel Caress unenchanted with a pearl in it. It's got a level 7 pearl. We're swapping that out and we're putting in a level 10 enchanted fire attuned Steel Caress. So that gives me 5% fire attunement, which I didn't have in the unenchanted one. It also gives me plus 20 health, which comes from the enchantment. So that pretty much levels out the 21 health I'm losing from the pearl. All right, and then it's adding 3% armor. And the net effect is 6% attunement, 1 from the gemstone, 5 from the enchantment. Now in the Steel Greaves, I'm losing damage. I had a level 9 ruby in this. Level 9 ruby is a pretty nice ruby, if you ask me. It had a fire enchantment, so I'm not getting quite as much in this department, but we're going to go level 10 Greaves. All right, I put a pearl in here. Again, this is my generic build. So when I'm fighting the nature boss, who ignores defense, well, I've just added a bunch of HP. And so with a little bit of attunement and a bunch of HP, I'm better against Boris than I would have been before what I just did. Even though these things aren't necessarily built for Boris, right? They're not nature attunement. They're not a ton of dodge. It's still a subset that will help me against Boris, even though it's not a build just for Boris. It's a generic build. The other thing I've done is I've gone on this stance. These will tell you what they do. Block chance loses initiative. Well, I don't carry a shield, so it doesn't help me. Block chance, dodge chance, okay, but you lose initiative. Defense heavy attacks, block chance, armor pen, dodge chance, lose a lot of initiative. All right, my initiative is -1. I don't know what you do. At -1, do I even swing? Offense, gain initiative, lose block chance. I don't block anyway. So there's no reason why I'm not on offensive. That's why I've been on it. Offensive light attacks, gain initiative, gain crit chance, lose block, lose dodge. Well, now I'm negative on dodge. I just got positive on dodge. All right? I have a 1 in 50 chance of dodging an attack. I don't know. It may come at the right time. And then, of course, heavy attacks, offensive, initiative, critical, pen, but you lose a lot of dodge chance and a lot of block chance. Well, this wouldn't be so bad if I had 0 dodge attempt. I just put it on offensive heavy attacks, take the initiative, take the crit, take the armor pen. Okay? But I've got a little bit of dodge, and so I'll go ahead and take the exceptional amount of initiative that it gives me and just sit on offensive. And this is my build. Now, if you just noticed, I also went down here and picked up the level 10. So, even though you can have 10 quests, when you start the game, you actually only have 9 slots, because 1 is taken up by the starter quest. And the starter quest is just trying to get you to level 10. So, boom, you get a shard, and you get a treasure chest. And let's go ahead and explore some of the treasure chests, because I should have a bunch. Treasure. And what you get is a piece of armor, and you get a gemstone now. All right, so that was an enchanted scythe and a pearl, level 2. Axe, sapphire. All right, as you move level 3, that's actually pretty good. That was an onyx and a level 3 hammer. Well, that's 2 mats, right? When I disassemble that, I'll get 2 mats. Okay, boom, opal. This is all just raw stuff now. Emerald. And these gems could be of any type, meaning any, even though I'm in the fire world, you're seeing that the gems are, ooh, that's a new piece right there. Titan's Kappa, a 4-socketed equipment set. And it's level 3, so I'm certainly not going to use it. So we'll go and research that in a second. That opal was void, but I'm sitting in the fireland. So these things will drop gems, and the void type, not the void type, the attunement type is random. It could be anything. All right, we're dumping that. We're working our way up. This is about dramatic effect here. We're working our way up to the level 10. We're looking for anything good along the way. Like that Titan's Kappa is pretty cool. Haven't seen that before. But again, if you're fighting Boris and HP matters and nothing else, right? HP and dodge, then maybe a set where you're just all dodge or all HP, there's a rapid rapier, is good, right? So there's a build that might make a lot of sense. All right, those are my level 4s. There was a Crown of Balance. I have researched that before, but it's one of those things. I'll put a cursor over that. Negative durability. So it's a piece of armor that will break, but a ton of block chance and a bunch of crit. Oh, a bunch of crit chance, right? And then lowered critical damage. So you're increasing your chance of hitting. Maybe you get it to 100%, but you've decreased your damage rate, right? If you get your critical damage to 100%, you're going to crit every time. So you can sit there and do the math and figure out if that makes sense for you and your weapon. Level 5 now is a little bit more useful. Onyxes, topazes, all these. There's a Beather Lelf. One thing that doesn't get enough credit is Kim, the developer, has written all of these things. And he's written little quips down. You can read it down there. You know, here's your Beather Lelf, Bolton stuttered. Right. So the guy who made it has a stutter, and that's why it's called that. He's written all these goofy little things, and if you read them, they're quite enjoyable. He's got a good sense of humor, and it translates. I think he's Swedish, so for it to translate into humorous for an American, that's pretty good humor. And then here's my level 10. Let's see what I get. Cool. Tribal chest guard and a level 10 opal. So that's your dodge chance plus 1 void. Okay. I could take that opal out, put this one in, and then be done. I think that would be a waste of a perfectly good level 9 opal for me, Mr. Poorface, right? I don't have a lot of these things, high levels, and I shouldn't just be, oh, for 0.2 for 5, you know, dodge chance, let's pull it. No, I would rather build a whole nother piece of armor and put that in it and have that be a void dodge build, right? That's what I'd rather do. So I'm just going to keep that and be happy. So there you go. I'm now level 10. Now, I can take anything off and I drop to something else. So when I jump to, let's just zoom out here. This is my generic build. I think I'm in. Let's double check. Yeah, I'm in 4, which is my main build. I just put my warrior face on that. Now when I jump to my memory slot for 1, which is my fire build, it put back on all the stuff I was wearing before. Because these are not really memory. They're not really build slots as much as they're memory slots. It's press 1 and you go back to whatever you're wearing last time 1 was worn. So what I need to go through now with my build sets is rebuild these a little bit real quick. All right, so now it's all level 10. And it's this guy, and it's this guy, and it's this guy. And I probably will disassemble my tier 9 stuff. It's good to keep your tier 8s, a lot of tier 8 stuff, because you can use that to claim land. But there's not a whole lot of use of keeping around your level 9 stuff, because there's no level 9 land you can claim. Not that I've seen. Maybe there will be someday, but right now there's not. And so, you know, I'm just going to disassemble my level 9 stuff, keep some of my 8s that I can put down on a claim if I ever need to. All right, this build looks like it's back to where it needs to be. Yeah, that's all my level tier stuff. Then we're going to zoom out. Now we go to level 2, and boom, everything drops back. Level 2 is my water build, right? It's got the shell in it. I'm going to keep that. I like the hydro in that build, so that's going to stay the same. But I am going to swap out the gear. And so we're going to go gloves, somehow, and gloves. I said gloves twice, but I meant boots. Okay, and I'm going to zoom out. Loadout number 3. Now, one thing that gets me when you do these loadouts is sometimes you have a seed on when you switch out your loadouts. That can be really confusing because you hit your loadout button and then you throw on a loadout and then you're in a seed world, and that's not what you intended to do at all. So make sure you disassemble your seeds. This is my nature build. Again, I don't have generic equipment to make these builds stronger, but it is better to put my new stuff in there for these cases. Anyway, my HP bonus, yeah, that was plus 20, that was plus 20, and that was plus 20. So, you know, plus 60 HP from those 3 pieces of armor. Well, I was wearing an 18 and a 21, so 49 plus HP. Replaced those all with enchanted gears and had plus 60 HP, so plus 12 HP just simply from the enchantments. And then I did throw that 1 pearl in there somewhere here, which got me plus 20. And so the net effect of it, after all of that, was 12 plus 20, 32 HP more than I had before, plus dodge chance. And right now it's up high because this is my nature build, and in my nature build, I wear a twig. So I dodge more, and I pen for armor more, and my initiative is higher, and my damage is higher. There's no use wearing a turtle shell when you're going to fight Boris, because he ignores your armor. So turtle shell does no good for you. Plus, there's no attunement. Turtle shell is a water attunement on it. He's a nature boss. This has got a nature attunement, and then it's got a bunch of stuff that can help me in a Boris fight. Right now, when I'm fighting Boris, I got a 1 in 5 chance of dodging his attacks. And if he hits me, I've got a 5% more attunement than I would have had otherwise by wearing the twig. You see the strategy coming together? Okay, that's it. So those are my builds. I've rebuilt all my builds now. I can always double check to make sure that they're in good shape. I just went to 4. This is my main build, right? And it's got, whatever. The main build is just, I just put on the main build and I just go about my business. I don't worry about it. But now I know when I'm sitting at a nature, fire, or a water boss, I can switch to a different build and just be a little bit better at that, right? And my water build, I swap out my weapon for the hydro trident, which I like better, and I dropped to level 9. See this up here? Level 9. Because I'm not wearing all level 10. I'm wearing a level 9 shell and a level 9 Hydros Trident. But when I go loadout number 1, Fire Enchantment, I jump to 10. Why? Because everything I'm wearing is level 10, including the Ash. I've got 34% attunement. So even though I'm at 63% armor, with 34% attunement, they hit me, 34% comes off first, and then 63% comes off after that. So, you know, you don't necessarily need 95% armor if you're running 34% attunement against fire. The two are, you know, what the attunement takes off plus what the armor takes off, the benefit between 63% and 95% is much smaller because I'm already taking damage off of because of the attunement. So that's how I'm going about this. This is more an efficient way, right? Let the game come to me. I got that opal now with the dodge chance and the void. Okay, well, maybe the next piece of armor I build is a void set. Void is weakest, right? I don't even have a void set built because other than that one piece, which is these gloves right here, I don't really have anything else to use in the void setting. So maybe I'll take that level 10 opal and think about adding a piece there. Boris seems to be the thing that's giving me the most trouble. That's why I did an Alora's talisman with a nature attunement, which is my generic use every day, whatever that is called, equipment, accessory. He's giving me the most grief. Obviously with this loadout here, this is loadout 3. Right, I've boosted the attunement, boosted the HP, and increased the damage, and increased the dodge chance. All of those things should improve my effects against Boris the next time I go fight that sneaky little spider. There you go. That was the adventure. Let's go back to a main loadout and just see this thing turn red. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And now in chat, I'm going to say, hey bros, how's about a cheer for a new tier 10 monster boss man? Me. Doink boss. And then we'll see what people say. You know, you get to know, it's the same, you know, half dozen players, dozen players. Alex Frog. Alex Frog started after me, but he's been just for 3 days doing nothing but playing this game. And he actually got to level 10 before me, and it's all, you can see his build right there. It's all enchanted. So just like me, by the time you get to level 10, if you can afford level 10, you should have accumulated enough enchanted material. But you didn't see, I didn't enchant any of my stuff all that much, except my weapon, which is probably the least valuable thing you can enchant. But I didn't enchant my stuff all the way up to 10. Why waste all those materials on stuff, right? Keep your enchanted material. Make sure your level 10 gear is what you want, right? And now I'm going to go solo some dungeons. That's what I'm going to do. All right, I'll bring you back when I have a dungeon worth soloing. All right, here we are at Canyons. We're going to fight Block. Create a group and see how we do. Let's see, do I want to change anything about myself besides the opposite? No, I'm still wearing that shell. 90% defense is got to be good enough against Block. We'll see. We will see. You know, you can still lose. Who knows? It's 2+, so he's going to be level 3. It should be fairly easy. We'll just see how it goes. So what's next? My shell is level 9. That needs to be level 10 for sure. Without a doubt, that needs to happen. I'm way too weak on Frost. I need to have some Frost pieces that I can mix in to go take Walrus solo. And Nature. So those are the 3 that I really need to kind of focus on. I can already get 34% attunement against fire. Pretty solid there. I also don't love my weapon setup. So weapon setup is another thing we need to work on. So plenty left to work on. And that's kind of the cool thing about the game is you're never really there. We're faring okay here. I would like, it was a critical. I'm using Kyle's might, so I'm not going to freeze him. I could lose this. I need to, he's hitting me way more often than, he's using Drain. I need one more hit. That's it. All right, we just soloed Block. Way too close for comfort. Need to do a better job than that against a level 3 Block, but that is a solo I can now kind of carry through most dungeons, people. Boris is still going to be an issue, and Walrus is going to be an issue because I'm weak against Frost. But there we go. Level 10. Well, I'm level 9 right now, but that's because I'm wearing the shell. We're going to solve that. That's it. Congratulations to me. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me.